What if Loopy Pro was actually always recording so you never have to miss that great idea when you're jamming? Well, in this lesson, we're going to look at a really cool feature called retrospective looping inside Loopy Pro. It's massively powerful, and it gives you ways that you can loop live. This is another method to loop live, and it also is a really cool way of capturing any ideas when you're jamming so that you can store them away for later if you want to go and record them elsewhere. Let's have a quick jam so that you can see what this amazing feature can do, and then I'm going to break it down so you can understand it and try it yourself at home. Let's do this. Retrospective recording lets you try stuff out as you go. So let's try out the snare. And if I like it, I can just hit my pedal and it will capture it. Let's try out some kick drum. I like that one. Nice. Let's try out some kind of tuned kick drum. I like that one. Good, and you get to try it out. Try before you buy. I don't know, let's try some hi-hat. Quite like that one. So I'll stick it in there. Who knows? Nah. Alright, let's say we're done with our beat. Let's try out some guitar stuff. Okay, so on screen, I've got a template here inside Loopy Pro. If you want to download this and try it out yourself, then there is a link in the description, but I'll talk you through some of the settings we've got going on here. Basically, you can see 3 different sort of loop setups. I'm going to have a loop for my drums. I've got a loop for my guitar here, and I've got this memory saver loop, which we'll get onto a bit later in the video. But first, we've got to understand what retrospective recording is. Well, you've probably seen my last few videos where you start your loop by either touching the screen or using a foot pedal. You can configure that in a few ways, but then it starts recording for a set length or a free length. You then press the button or press the screen again to end your loop, okay? Now that works great, and that's what most people are familiar with. But this feature, if you give it a go, and I've got to hold my hands up here, I've only really been testing this out these last few weeks. I've always known about it, but I've never really given it the time it deserves. And it is incredible. It's definitely something you should try out, and I'll explain why in a second. But retrospective recording means that Loopy Pro is always listening. And say you play something that you liked, you can press a button or you can press your loop and it will capture the last cycle that was playing. It sounds a bit complicated, but let's get our heads around this. If we head up to the master clock section here, you can see this is where my bar lengths are set. You can do this in a few ways, but I'm just showing you the most basic way here. I've also got it on screen. I'll cover this in future lessons, how to do widgets, but I can change how long my loop length is going to be. I have set up a tempo, so in this case I've got 120 BPM, so that when I press play on the clock, there will be a metronome going in my headphones. So if I just press play, you can't hear this, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 going in my headphones, okay? So what's happening if I press play on the clock? Loopy Pro is always storing the last 1 bar in the background. Let's take a loop at retrospective recording in the settings. If we head up to clip settings and you go to the recording settings, you have this button here, or this toggle called retrospective recording. And you've got a few options. The one we're going to look at today is loop, and it uses the loop length, or it will follow the master if empty. And we have got it quantized, which means it's going to record in time with our metronome, okay? And then the master length that I'm going to demonstrate is a 1 bar loop length. So instead of pressing record, waiting, and then trying to record a 1 bar loop, I can just press play on the clock, I can jam away, and at any point, if I hear something that I liked, I can just simply press that loop and it will put in the last bar. For example, the clock is currently going. Okay, let's test this out on the drums, okay? Let's say I want this snare here. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 happening, okay? So let's try. Okay, I don't like that one. Let's say I liked that one. Now you can't see that, but I've got a foot switch down on the floor, the Boss FS1, rigged up so that when I press the button, it will do the action of retrospective recording, but I can also just tap the loop on screen. I'll do it one more time. Okay. Let's say I like that one. It's not actually very good, but you get the idea, right? So it's a really cool way of not getting that nervousness that I get when I'm playing drum pad, because I'm not really a drummer. I'm okay at guitar and I feel confident with that. But as soon as I'm trying to record drums and I have it in the old-fashioned way, I wait for the counting to happen, I start to record, and of course I blow it. Whereas if this is going, I can just kind of warm up. Until I get the one I want, and then maybe do the same with kick drum. And just like that, it starts. So terrible, right? But let's get settled in. It's like a really cool drum machine, and I absolutely love this really cool feature, retrospective recording. So what if you wanted a longer loop length? Well, I could change it to 2 bars. I could press play on the clock. And now it's going to listen to the last 2 bars. So there's the first bar, second bar. If I now press the loop, it puts those 2 bars in. So you can easily change the bar length from 1 to 8 or any configuration you can think of. So it's a really good method if you want to get rid of that fear that your loop has to be perfect when that record button is enabled. A bit like recording in a studio. As soon as that red light is on, you tend to make loads more mistakes than you normally do. I'll quickly talk you through this template, but there's probably many things you don't understand as we go through. Later on in my course, I am going to break down all of the different features you need to know to make this possible. But we have 2 loops here, drums and guitar, and I can select either one. The reason I've got this configured to select what loop I want is I want to be able to use the same foot switch, which is this Boss FS1 I've just got, and I want to be able to record either loop with the same set of buttons. So basically a few buttons on a foot controller and select what loop you want, and you can toggle on and off so many different loops. But I've got it set up so we've got drums and guitar. In my mixer, drums only go to the drum clip and guitar only goes to the blue clip. And then down the bottom here, I've just put this on screen so you can see, I have set up record to basically record whatever the current selected clip is. I can undo it if it went a bit wrong. If I press that on this loop, you'll see it undoes the last layer. And if I click and hold, you can clear. And that's mapped to my foot switch. But this lesson isn't about mapping a foot switch. Go and watch one of my older videos in this course. Also, I'm testing out this fuzz auto wah. This just turns it on and off from Rob Jackson. I need to do a separate video on this one, but I think it sounds pretty sweet. This is with it off. And if I turn it on, I literally grabbed it just for this lesson, but I need to break that down in future. But you've got these loops, you've got these bar lengths that you can choose, and then it will always be listening to the last 2 bars, and it will always play it back perfectly in time because that setting we had on as quantized. I appreciate this can get a bit confusing. You do need to test these methods out to get used to them, to see if they work for you. For me in this drum pad, mucking around today, I'm definitely going to be doing retrospective recording for my drums. It just gives me a bit more flexibility. But one other really cool feature that you definitely want to check out here is, what if you're jamming along and this isn't a live looping thing necessarily, but you're sort of mucking around with different chords, different riffs, different solos, I don't know, whatever it is. And you played something and you're like, wow, I really don't want to lose that. You weren't recording the session or anything like that. Well, you can also set it up as like a memory catcher. So over here on the right-hand side, I've added another audio loop. And what I've done is I've set that audio loop to a certain length. I've set it to 8 bars. So this doesn't get changed by my master loop length. And I have set up a little widget here. So whenever I press this widget, it will record the last 8 bars that were played back in time. And on the mixer side of things, I have sent my channels that are coming in into that loop. I have also sent the loops themselves that I'm recording to, the orange and the blue. I've sent them to the pink as well. This is a bit advanced maybe for some of you, but for those of you that are comfortable with Loopy Pro, this might be a cool idea. So let me explain why this is really cool. Let me just build something up a second. Let's press play on the clock. Let's do some kick drum. Okay, so we've got some drums. Let's put in some guitar. That'll do. Let's just say on top of that, we do the best solo of our lives. Let's say we like that. Well, we can press this button on screen, capture the last 8 bars, and it should populate this loop for me. Now I need to turn these 2 loops off so we don't get the same thing. If I press play now, you can hear the last 8 bars. It's a really cool method. It's like a capture the last 8 bars backup that you can have on a template. But this is just me experimenting with the feature that is retrospective recording inside Loopy Pro. So I think at this point, and in this module from my blueprint course on Loopy Pro, we've covered kind of the main ways to loop. We've looked at tapping the screen to start and stop your loop. We've looked at using a foot switch to start and stop your loop. We have looked at threshold recording, which starts and stops your loop based on how much audio you've got coming in. And today we're looking at retrospective recording. You must play with all of them to see if any of them resonate with you, if any of them help you in your looping setup. As we move forward, we're then going to create some really cool templates where you can incorporate different styles of looping. Like I plan to have retrospective recording on my drums, but potentially I might do the old-fashioned way of tapping the screen for some of my other loops, just because that's the way I am used to and I am enjoying doing it that way. But anyway, I hope this lesson was useful. I'll leave it there so it doesn't get too long and too complicated. But that is retrospective recording, and that is how you can record the past or any take that was good in the moment and live. It's really amazing, and to my knowledge, no hardware loopers can do this. This is where Loopy starts to shine. I'm going to have a little jam as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.